YouTubers, Mike Martins here with the Mike Martins channel. Thanks for joining me, guys. I got this article here that was from the other day, from September 12th, yesterday, and it's been updated again 3 minutes ago. And I want to bring this up because it's very important for people living in Canada, and we are entering into election season here in the next couple of weeks. So, well, they're obviously campaigning, but we're going to be going to the polls to vote very soon. So this is very damaging. I've been talking about first-time homebuyer crap and how dangerous it's been. They've rolled this out in Canada many times, but now they've rolled it out in the UK. I think the UK was one of the first ones to do it like 4 years ago, and then Australia, and then New Zealand did it, and all this. Liberals promised to expand program for his first-time homebuyers. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau says more help on the way for hot markets such as Toronto and Vancouver. This is the biggest crock of poop, because if you can't afford to buy, if you're a doctor, if you're a practitioner, you're a registered nurse, okay, and you can't afford to get into the housing market in your area, or you have to save up for 20 years to put a down payment, get out! Move stateside with all the other Canadians that are needed in positions, not like postal carriers like that go on strike during Christmas to ruin everybody's Christmas. I'm talking about like you're actually needed. There's a demand for you. Go south. Buy a house for $270,000 and live a decent life, because this is becoming ridiculous. If you can't buy in the market, then don't buy in the market. Don't get this assistance program. We talked about this for years here. So there they are, basically talking about this, and young families around them, of course. That's what you want to be surrounded by, young families. In a pitch aimed to millennial voters in key ridings, Liberal leader Justin Trudeau is promising more help for first-time homebuyers living in high-priced markets such as Greater Toronto and the Vancouver areas. The Liberals are pledging to expand their first-time homebuyer incentive program. So let's open this up real quick so you guys can see what it's about. So it's that could contribute 10% to the price of the first home. So that's what it is. Okay. Under the program, the Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation, CMHC, kicks in up 10% of the purchase price of the home, as long as the borrower comes up with the minimum amount for an insured mortgage, which is now set at 5%! Whatever happened to 20, 30% down, or even sometimes in history it was 50% down when rates were high and people were on the verge of defaulting during weak economic times. Tell me about that now. Under the current terms of the program, a buyer qualifies for assistance only if the total value of the mortgage plus CMHC's portion does not exceed $480,000. Trudeau announced today that the ceiling will increase to $789 large. Certain hot markets such as Victoria, Vancouver, and the Greater Toronto area. So, guys, why do you think they keep boasting and talking about? Why do you think they keep bringing up and boasting and talking about how affordable rent in Vancouver is gauged at $3,100 for a two-bedroom for considered low income? Because that's what it is. Low income, to afford a low income, and why they're targeting people for that much for rent for low income families is because they want to keep their professionals. They want to keep their radiologists, their doctors, their physicians, their plastic surgeons. The hospitals need to keep these people on board, but when they just can't afford to buy groceries at the end of the month after they get paid, we got a problem here, guys. We got a major issue here. Okay, so we're losing our professionals. It's a great Canadian brain drain. It's all going to the U.S. and I don't blame our professionals for getting up and leaving. I don't blame them for it. Young people hoping to buy a first home. Why? When two of them, the millennials are the most educated generation of our time. I have no education. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm 41 years old. I have no education. I'm a Portuguese. I'm like an alphabet. I can't even read. And then the most educated generation of our time is having a tough time buying their first house? Young people hoping to buy their first home, as their parents did a generation ago, are facing a tough housing market, Trudeau said during the campaign event in Victoria. Why is this? I know this is a very good political platform to run on housing. The New Zealand current Prime Minister Jacinta ran on the housing platform. Anyone that runs on housing and makes it a big deal wins, usually, because they are actually kind of segregating or moving out from the political cesspool of topics. The main topic they need to drive is housing affordability. It says right there, a generation ago, your parents came in and bought a house, but they bought it when it was cheap. They bought it when interest rates were high. They bought it when people were making money off their accounts. They bought it when people were building wealth. People aren't building wealth anymore. People are just building debt-based building society. Our countries are in debt. Our countries cannot manage their sovereign debt. We are personally in debt, and we can't even manage our own personal debts. That's what it's turning to right now. The March budget earned $1.25 billion over 3 years for the new mortgage plan. Trudeau noted to the Conservatives voted against the measure. One of the main criticisms of the budget measure was that the cap was too low to help prospective homebuyers in markets where prices have exploded. Trudeau said that the new pledge acknowledges that there needs to be extra help for those in cities with housing prices significantly higher than the national average. So let's go back here. Oops, where the hell did that... God, where did that go? I'm so sorry, guys. Let me go back here. Let me do this, and let me show you why. What is going on? So you type in Canada. So this trumps from... get it? It trumps. Okay, so you go here. I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. So here it is. You go here. Here it is. So Trudeau started this. Canada wants more Chinese workers, students, and tourists, immigration minister. They purposely started this to bring in lucrative people. So McCollum says visas are increasing from China up to 500,000 per year. But opening more visa offices can help Canada compete for Chinese workers, students, and lucrative tourist business. So what happened was Canada was opening up more visa offices in China. And it goes on to say here that they would become the future Canadian citizens. That's what they're saying here. So it says here, Liberals will give international students advantage. So there's a lot of stuff happening here. So bringing 500,000 lucrative, rich business people, obviously these rich business people are going to flock to the bigger cities, right? The bigger metropolises. And they have their enclaves where they don't even have to learn any other language, but they could speak their national language of their country, right? So that's what's happening. That's how our cities have gotten out of control, by bringing in rich, lucrative. But meanwhile, on the back end, the Canada's deporting Portuguese and all other they've deported my culture like crazy, because we're not coming in with a lot of money, right? So one of the main criticisms on the budget measure is to cap to how low to help prospective buyers. Okay, we went there. And Conservative Party spokesman Simon Jeffries said the Liberal housing policy likely won't work. Of course it won't work. Justin Trudeau has never been able to quantify the number of Canadians who actually benefit from first-time home buyers incentives, and still can't, Jeffries said. So they understand. These guys understand they need first-time home buyers in the market. They need the fresh blood. If you can't get first-time home buyers in the market, you're finished. You're done. Okay? The market's done. If it doesn't have because it needs consumer confidence in the first-time home buyer market. We're not getting that because it's unaffordable and unobtainable in those cities. Everyone's migrating, like myself. I'm 2.5 hours out of Vancouver, east. I'm not spending $2.6 million on a teardown where I could buy the same house in West Palm Beach for $150,000. So I'm not going to play that game, right? He added that the Conservative leader, Andrew Scheer, will offer his own plan to make home ownership more affordable. Trudeau also said re-elected Liberal government would take steps to address housing speculation by foreign buyers. But it makes no sense when we are fighting to get 500,000 foreign buyers, like 500,000 people per year to come in. It just does not make any sense. And give them fast track. Basically, the article talks about fast tracking citizens, basically, so they get quick citizenship, right? Housing speculation prices, including what Trudeau called the modest 1% national speculation and vacancy tax to be levied on non-residents and non-Canadian homeowners. Modeled after BC, the tax is based on one place at the provincial level. BC, Trudeau said that the national tax tax is meant to ensure foreign capital pushed out of BC's housing market and doesn't drive up housing costs in other parts of the country. Well, that's already happened, because when you go here and we type in this article, give me 1 second here, guys. Okay, so then you get into here. Aboriginals and whites leaving Metro Vancouver. So this is an older article, but it actually touches here that a net total of 9,345 whites and 460 Indigenous people left Metro Vancouver for other parts of the province in the 1 year period ending July 2016. And then rumors have it from July 2017 was around 13,000, and then 2018 was like 22,000. And 2018 was so you see what's happening. So what's happening is we're intermigrating within our province. I moved here to Merritt 3 years ago, and I decided to kind of live a more relaxed lifestyle. But people are moving to Kelowna, Kamloops, and those cities have skyrocketed in price. And now in those cities, in 2017 and parts of 2018, there was huge bidding wars in those cities, because people were desperate because they were in Vancouver. They were bought out of the market for many years. And then now they go to another city. It starts off cheaper, but then it becomes more expensive because prices start driving up. And that's what's been happening. So other parts of Canada have already been crippled by this. So based on the place that doesn't drive up housing costs in other parts of the country, it is. That is why it's important to create national measure right across the country based on BC's success with it, to ensure that foreign speculation doesn't make housing less affordable for Canadians, he said. The Canadian Real Estate Association, CREA, welcomed the announcement, saying it will give tangible support to millennials and other first-time buyers in cities with overheated markets. The extension of eligibility requirements is great news that will allow Canadians in Canada's highest price markets to take advantage of the program and start building their lives in a home they call their own. CREA president said in a statement, the initial budget program kicked in this month. Expand the program will begin in November. Guys, this is a huge problem, because if you can't afford to buy in the market, don't buy in the market, please. It's like buying something you know you can't afford to pay back, and that's why a lot of these banks are in a lot of trouble. A lot of millennials lied on their mortgage applications. A lot of fraud. It's all fraud. And a lot of banks doing what they could do, or hopefully, let's get this appraiser to come down low. So hopefully if the appraiser's low, we can get its total debt service ratio to fit on the house. We could talk down the owners a bit and stuff. And hoping that they could fudge numbers around to make things fit so it meets bank policy, so if they get audited. So there's a lot of things, guys. Canada is in a poop show right now, and the younger family, millennial family, class family, are having a really tough time. They're having a really tough time at it. I'm one of the Gen Xers. I'm one of the guys that sat at the back of the class, wasn't welcomed to participate with the rest of the class, me and a couple of others and stuff. So that's my generation growing up in school. That's how it was for us. But it's really sad to see how the most educated people, the generation is completely up Poops Creek when it comes to getting into the markets. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you want to support this transmission, go ahead and buy me a coffee on Patreon for $1 a month. Also, don't forget to share this video. Guys, get this out there. And I need people to see this. We need to see these links, to see these reports here, so you could connect the dots and see what's really going on. Thank you.